Hey everyone, it's Reverend Dr. Katie, and I am really happy to be here with you. I think I've solved some of the technical difficulties that we were having, but if you're still having them, if the sound is giving out or anything like that, let me know. A booster for the internet is also on its way, so this will be solved permanently pretty soon. And so I hope you're doing okay, and today we are going to be talking about abundance. And this is something that keeps on coming up over and over and over in our group, just in my life in general, but probably in the lives of a lot of Christians. And I want to clear a few things up, and we're going to talk about some strategies for cultivating abundance in your own life, but doing it without feeling icky. All right. So I know a lot of times when we talk about abundance, people are like, oh, you're talking about money. Christians aren't supposed to talk about money. No. We're going to back up a little bit. We're going to talk about abundance a couple of different ways. So now that I see a few people are watching, is my sound coming through okay? Because we were having troubles with that last time. If it's not coming through okay, there's little ticky things, let me know. And I see with this new setup, there's a glare on my glasses, so I'm going to fix that. Okay, so let's talk about abundance then. Christians have a hard time talking about this, and Christians also live in scarcity, and this is for lots of different reasons, but I think because we equivocate self-giving and self-abnegation with scarcity and with poverty. And we are to give. That's a huge Christian value. I'm a big believer in giving. I'm a big believer in giving to my church, to my individual church. That's something I do on a monthly basis, right? I give to my church in a variety of ways. The ones I'm pastoring at, I give to my regional bodies. I'm a huge believer in giving. So yes, I am a big believer in giving. I'm also a big believer in housing myself and in feeding myself and in clothing myself. I do not think those things are mutually exclusive. And I'm a big believer in doing that for others. I believe that I should do that for others. That's a Christian not charity. That is a Christian invitation for us. So we all find our own ways to give and to what causes call to our hearts the most. All right. But if we equivocate that giving with having total lack, there's a big problem, right? So God did not call us into our Christian calling to live lives of lack. Sometimes we are called to give beyond our points of comfort. So hello, that's the Christian life. We are called to give beyond our points of comfort, especially in terms of self-growth, in terms of time on occasion, but not to the point where we're stretched so thin that we don't know who we are anymore, right? So you see the balance, see the difference there? So abundance actually begins with cultivating our own self-knowledge, cultivating our own gifts, cultivating awareness of who God calls us to be. And from that place of abundance is where we give. It is so much healthier to give from a place of self-knowing and from abundance than a place of fear and of scarcity. All right? Now, which one would you rather receive a gift from? Would you rather receive a gift from someone who is giving out of their scarcity or giving out of their abundant love? Right? Whenever I know someone has given me a big gift and they don't have enough funds for it, like a literal gift, and they don't have enough funds for it, I feel terrible. Like, I don't want to be the recipient of their poverty, or I don't want to impoverish someone with a gift that they're giving me. Instead, I want to enable them to live a life of fullness and of abundance. Okay, so see the difference? See how that mindset makes a huge difference in how you perceive of yourself and how you give? Perfect. Let's keep going. So I want to address something else really important, because as soon as a Christian minister starts talking about finances, immediately people start saying, no, you're preaching prosperity gospel. So let me explain what prosperity gospel is. Prosperity gospel is the notion that people who are wealthy because God loves them more, because they've been obedient to some form of the gospel. Right? That is prosperity gospel. So I think that's an abdication of the gospel. I do not believe in prosperity gospel. I do believe that Christians can be abundant in finances and follow the gospel at the same time, right? Again, this is a huge mindset issue. But if I constantly go around, or someone goes around and saying, oh, because I am abundant, God loves me more. No, that's not true, right? We as Christians know that God loves every single person and that we are called to be expressions of that love. So go and do that, and that's abundance in itself, right? Showing that love of God is a form of abundance. It's spiritual abundance, absolutely. So I'm not a fan of prosperity gospel. In fact, no to prosperity gospel, right? But there's a big yes, not but, and there's a big yes to living in resonance with God and creating financial sustainability and creating an economy that doesn't exploit, that doesn't rely on trampling down on people, that doesn't rely on creating a class of poverty that's based on systemic racism, that is based on systemic oppression, that's based on anything where we say there has to be a class of people who lack, because that's not true at all. So I'm really about creating this new economy and doing that in ways that are sustainable and not upholding the value of poverty in and of itself, because that just replicates the system. Like there has to be a layer of poverty in order for me to feel good about my self-negation. No. So we're going to start from this like place of abundance. Okay, so I want to clear that up right away. So I want to tell you a story about how I started playing the harp. A lot of you know that I play the harp. It's one of my passions in life, and I started playing it about 8 years ago. I got to tell you, I was a grad student. I didn't have enough money in my head. I did not have enough money to start taking harp lessons, and I wanted a good teacher, so I wanted to be able to go to lessons and I didn't want to pay for a 10-minute lesson or something like that. And I never played the harp. I never touched a harp, but I knew I wanted to play one. So I Googled, I found a harp teacher near me, was the perfect fit. Like I looked at the website, I was like, this is the teacher for me. She happened to live a mile from me, and I had a couple of choices when I contacted this teacher, right? I could say, I don't have time to play the harp. I don't have money to play the harp. I don't have the will to learn a new instrument at this point in my life while I'm also in grad school and learning new things, right? So that would be a mindset actually of poverty and of scarcity. But I knew deep down in my heart that I was called to do this, to play the harp. I didn't know why. I just knew I wanted to. I knew it was something deeper than just a passing whim. Right? And so I really had to kind of work on my own mindset. And I had to say things like, the value of this is really high, like the price value of these harp lessons is really high, and it's worth it, and I'm going to find a way to do this. And I did. I didn't go every week. I did not go every week. I went every 2 weeks, every month, and the teacher was really flexible with me. And I knew part of my mindset was this is a spiritual good, not only for me, but for others. So this is something that I should do, right? And then I found a way to do that. And I found very creative ways to finance renting a harp, buying a harp, all these different options, you know? And so the result of that many years later is that I do know that I've shifted people's lives with the harp. So sometimes I do that over the course of 5 minutes in a church service. Sometimes I do that in the community. So after the pulse attack, the horrible pulse attack in Orlando, I went to our local LGBTQI center and I just took my harp, and they knew me, and I said, I'd just like to play and give people some respite who are coming here because they're living in fear and with this horrible attack that's happened. And people got to restore themselves by playing the harp. And then there was a woman who ended up coming to the church where I was serving at the time and joining because of that. And so her life was literally transformed by playing the harp. And that's not something I knew when I began this mindset of abundance of this is something that I can do, that I know I can do, and that I will find the resources to be able to do because it's something God is calling me to do. Okay. And I haven't thought about my harp in those terms until just now, but that's absolutely true. So that journey that had begun 7 years before that ended up with this woman's life being changed, and it doesn't have anything to do with me, right? It just has to do with saying yes to that calling to live a life and live it abundantly. Okay. So there's your story. There's your emotional story for the day, right? So a lot of this starts with how we even talk about abundance. And we can talk about abundance of time, of energy, and of money. So a lot of times I hear people say, I really want to do that, but I don't have time. If you say you don't have time, you'll never have time. So you have to create an abundance of language. That's something I really want to that I really want to do. And I'm going to adjust my life so I can do it. I'm going to create an abundance of time in my life so I can do it. Oh, that's something that I would really love to learn, but I don't have the money to learn about that. I don't see having the money to learn about that anytime soon. I'm never going to have the money to learn about that. Those are all statements about your lack, and if you say them, those will be true. If you say, that is something I am called to do, and I will find the resources to be able to do it, and I will do that in creative ways, and I will allow those resources to manifest themselves in my life, you will be able to do it, right? And you will be able to creatively see other areas of your life that maybe need some cutting out, and then some that need expanding. And you will be able to expand yourself in such a way so that you have enough time, energy, and resources to be able to do the things you're called to do. When we talk about abundance, that's what we're talking about. You are creating in your own life, in resonance with Spirit, in resonance with God, the resources to do the things you're called to do. And I have to tell you, it's not about you. It's about the other lives that you're going to impact by creating that abundance in your life. Whether that is for your kids, for your family, for your neighbors, for people you don't know. I did not know about this woman after the pulse attacks when I started playing the harp. Right? So that's paying it forward big time. So what would it feel like in your own life to create an abundance of time, of energy, and of resources to do the things that you're called to do? So I'm not talking about every fancy that goes through your head, but for those things where you feel that little thing in the back of your neck that's like, oh, this is the one, you need to do this, you need to do this. And when you feel that, you have to set your mindset in such a way that you can do it. And so just a really quick tip, avoid using words like can't, don't, won't, never. If you say that to yourself, that's what your brain will believe. So if you say, I can't do this right now, I can't do this ever, I can't do this for 6 months, that's the only thing that your brain and your soul and your spirit hear, and they'll say, yeah, you can't do it. If you say, I don't know, actually I wouldn't say I don't. If you say, this is possible for me in 6 months, right? That's a huge mindset shift. This is possible. And I don't know where I'm going to get the time, energy, and resources right at the moment, but I will, right? You can phrase that so you're not saying words like don't and but. I think you get the idea. See the huge mindset difference, right? So I want to start cultivating for everyone watching this a mindset of abundance that actually doesn't have anything to do with your wallet. It really has to do with what's happening here and in your spirit and answering the call of God to do significant things in your own life and rearranging your own life so you have the abundance that you crave to live the calling that you're called to live, to do the work that you're called to do. And so people who come to me and say they want to do this for power or exploitation or to rule the world. No, that's not what we're talking about here, right? We're doing this because as Christians, we're called to make a difference in the world, and we have to create the abundance in our lives to be able to make the difference that we're called to make. And we're all have our own callings. You're all called to something. You're called to something compatible but different than what I'm called to, and vice versa. And that's why we create this beautiful sea of abundance together, right? But that really starts with the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk to your spirit with your own mindset. Okay, and so you can shift that all, you can shift it quickly. If you're having trouble with that, let me know. We're going to be talking more and more about this. So this is your intro video. So start cultivating this in your own life. And then I've just seen beautiful examples of people cultivating abundance of time and energy for themselves and resources so that they can do the work that they want to do in their own life. So this can come in so many ways. It can come with a mindset of new work that you may want to do, new callings, new giving that you want to give in your own life, more time so that you can spend actually relaxing and maybe having fun and learning things that you want to learn instead of feeling like you're always ruled by your calendar, right? So we can start to shift that around. So I'm so excited about this idea of abundance. I've seen so many of you take beautiful leaps with your own abundance, and I just love it. And I can't wait to talk more about abundance. So more is coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned to that. If you have any immediate questions, the best way to get in touch with me is just to private message me. You can make a comment underneath here. We can just get in touch. So if you feel like you're ready to make that shift, but you're not quite sure what to do yet, let me know so I can be helpful, so we can at least start the baby steps together. I think that's it for today. This is plenty. More messages will come. I got a little more excited than I thought, and that I knew I was going to talk about the heart, but that was interesting, but I didn't know I was going to go into the direction of a specific life that it actually did change that I could not have anticipated. And there's more harp stories too. The harp is like this abundant instrument that just never stops giving. Okay, it's so good to see all of you. I will be looking for your comments, responding, looking for your private messages, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great, great week, and we'll be in touch later on in the week. Bye-bye.